Okay guys, this is a kit that you've requested I check out, the Ramone MOSRITE style guitar kit, or the Mossy as it's called at thefretwire.com. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars. Let's unbox it, build it, and test it out. I got this kit from thefretwire.com, and just a quick reminder, you can use coupon code GUNSANDGUITARS to save 10 bucks on any guitar kit at the Fretwire. Unboxing this kit, I noticed the usual things that I tend to see from any kit that I get from the Fretwire, really. The body has a nice wood grain, well, for basswood anyway.
It's pronounced basswood!
Sorry, this basswood body.
It's pronounced basswood!
For the love. Thanks for the helpful criticism. Now I'm just as confused as my last Jaguar-based video.
It's pronounced Jaguar!
That's what I said.
No, you said Jaguar!
Right, yes, and
it's Jaguar!
Okay, got it. No, I'm afraid you got it all wrong. It's pronounced Jaguar. Okay, British guy. Thanks for settling that once and for all. Anyway, as I was saying, this basswood body has a decent wood grain to it. And this mapley neck looks pretty beautiful as well. That's right, I said mapley. Go ahead. Let me know in the comments how it's supposed to be pronounced. Can't wait to hear about it. And the neck is nice and straight. The frets have been leveled, crowned, and sort of polished. And the headstock resembles Bart Simpson more than an actual MOSRITE headstock. But I imagine that's to avoid some trademark issues. The neck did feature something really cool that I did not expect. A 0 fret. Though, how it comes out of the box, it's completely useless because of the crazy high nut piece. More on that later. The electronics came with Johnny Ramone style pickups, a mini humbucker in the neck, and a Strat style pickup at the bridge. The electronics were not pre-wired, but it is a very basic setup, similar to the Jazzmaster kit that I just reviewed. It's got 2 pickups, 3-way selector switch, master volume, master tone. Even if you don't have any wiring or soldering skills, this should still totally be a piece of cake. Building this thing was extremely easy. All the holes were pre-drilled, so to assemble it, all I needed was a couple of Phillips head screwdrivers and a 10mm wrench. No, I'm afraid you got it all wrong again. It's a 10mm spanner. Wow, my British accent sucks. I'm sorry, you guys. Where's my hat? Sorry, I didn't want you guys to know that I'm bald. Wiring this thing up was pretty easy, except that the bridge lead wires were too short to reach the switch, so I actually had to flip it upside down so I could just shoot them straight over there, which made the lead wires really taut, so I couldn't follow the body routing. I had to just go straight over the body, which made the pickguard just a little bit wonky. Overall build time was less than 45 minutes. Like I said, this is a super simple basic build. In fact, I did the entire thing during my kid's afternoon nap, including the wiring and soldering. But once I had it all together, I was a bit underwhelmed to say the least. I'm gonna level with you guys right here. This guitar kit was not playable out of the box. Firstly, like I mentioned before, this nut piece was way too tall. Because the neck was nice and straight and the frets were perfectly leveled and crowned, I could actually set it up with a good low action. The problem was the nut piece was so tall that the strings were actually higher at the nut piece than they were at the 12th fret. The result was that every chord that I played was out of tune because of how hard I had to bend the strings to pinch them down on the frets. But even if I wanted to demo the guitar like that, which I probably would have because I like to be transparent about these things, I couldn't have because of the next issue. Because this is a flat style headstock and not a slanted one, it needs some kind of string retainer, either string trees or a retainer bar, to help pull the strings down into their slots on the nut. As you can see, without any string retainer, the G string especially would not stay in its place. The third issue that I had with this kit is that these pickups output are not matched or balanced whatsoever. I measured the resistance of this mini humbucker at about 10K, which is normal for a mini humbucker, and I measured this Strat pickup at about 4.6K, which again is normal for a Strat pickup. The problem is that typically you'd want more resistance and therefore hotter output on your bridge pickup to balance with the neck pickup. That's why Johnny Ramone played with a DiMarzio FS1 pickup in the bridge, which was wound to an impressive 14K so it could compete with his Seymour Duncan mini humbucker in the neck position. This little Strat pickup, however, just can't compete at all. The volume difference between the two pickups is just ridiculous. The last issue that I had with this kit is that when I screwed down the pickguard in the pre-drilled screw holes, the bridge pickup actually didn't align properly with the strings. Therefore, it exaggerated the previously mentioned balance issue between the pickups. Now, I could have just sent this kit back to the Fretwire and they for sure would have either refunded me or sent me a replacement kit. Those of you that have dealt with any issues with the Fretwire, you know that they have excellent customer service and speedy replies to emails. But I thought to myself, you know, I'm a do-it-yourselfer, why don't I just try to fix this kit as is? So here's what I did. To fix the tall action at the nut, I dramatically cut down the nut piece. In fact, I really wanted to test out that 0 fret, so I cut it so low that the strings would rest on that 0 fret instead of the nut piece. thereby using the nut piece just as a string guide to keep them in place, but the 0 fret is where the string is actually getting pinched. Now, I didn't have a string retainer bar on hand, so I just modded the nut piece by cutting a really aggressive slot to hold the G-string in place, despite having any downward pressure. And I have to say, those quick fixes were the difference in changing my overall attitude about this kit. I went from thinking that this is a complete piece of trash and a waste of money, to it being a really good feeling in playing guitar. Seriously, the action on this thing is super low, and there is 0 fret buzz, and I didn't have to do any fretwork. Now finally energized about this project, I moved on to fix the issues with the pickups. Now if you'll notice, this mini humbucker is at its minimum adjustment, and the Strat pickup is at its maximum adjustment. Now, that's not an ideal solution, but it does help to balance out the output between the two pickups. And lastly, I unscrewed the pickguard and slid it over just a tad so that the bridge pickup aligned better, then made new holes to screw it back down. These two little tweaks really help to balance the output of these pickups. And now finally we can sound check this thing. For this demo, I'm going to be recording directly into Logic Pro using their built-in amp simulation. I chose the vintage British head and matching 412 cabinet, which closely resembles the vintage Marshall 59 Mark II in tone, which as most of you guys may know was Johnny Ramone's rig. Now if I'm going to be trying to emulate Johnny's tone, there's really only one song that I can play. Let me know in the comments if you guys recognize it. One note guitar solo! Now I gotta say, this thing actually doesn't sound that bad. And with some fixing, it plays like a dream. Now unfortunately, this demo didn't do any justice to this mini humbucker at all. It was just sitting too low for it to hit its sweet spot, which was necessary for it to blend well with the bridge pickup. Otherwise, when I clicked it into the middle position, it actually would have lost volume. And now the bridge pickup actually sounded pretty good. It's a bit too bright and brittle for Johnny's tone, but nonetheless, still decent sound. So let's summarize now. Things that are cool! Easy to build. It has a 0 fret, and the neck is nice and straight with level frets. Things that suck! Well, let's see, this guitar was just not playable out of the box. The nut piece was way too tall for the 0 fret to function. The pickguard holes were not aligned properly. The strings would not stay in their nut piece. There was no string retainers or guides. The pickups were completely mismatched and imbalanced. Well, you get the picture. There were a lot of things wrong with this kit. Now, you can take my word for it that the fret wire will take care of you if you get a kit this bad, but I'm just stubborn, so I decided to fix all the issues myself. And the result was that I actually got a decent sounding and excellent playing guitar out of it. Now I'm really excited to build this thing up. Stay tuned if you want to see me turn this thing into an exact replica of Johnny Ramone's MOSRITE, and I bet I could do it for less than 300 bucks, including the cost of this kit, because that's what I like to do. Teach you guys how to make high-end guitars on a low-end budget. I'm Dan. This is Guns and Guitars.
It's pronounced basswood!
Thanks for watching.